Hey everyone, this is your TA, Liz. I'm going to talk to you about interpreting results that you get from SPSS. I'm going to do both the ANOVA and the correlations in one go because they're both pretty simple, and regardless of what you planned on doing, you might need to switch or want to switch to kind of go over more details or whatever, so it's always good to know more. Um, So let's get going. Um, I want to start off by giving you just kind of a minute of mindfulness meditation. I think it's really important, so it's honestly just a minute recording. So here you go.
Fly with Abel and Phi. Let's practice breathing meditation today. Sit in a comfortable position and close your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. If your mind wanders, gently observe and bring your mind to the breathing again. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Let the breath be your anchor. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Let there be peace.
Alright, so hopefully some of you find that helpful. I know some people think that it's just gobbledygook, and if that's you, just take a deep breath and we'll move on. So on to interpretation. So for the first part of your two-way ANOVA, you're going to get a descriptive statistics table. These are the means in the cells of your ANOVA table. So when Dr. Rumble talked to you about your independent variables and drew that little table, these are the means. These are like the values that go into the cells. Well, and some others. But so the first value is going to be the mean for male in school. It's a pretty useful table. It provides the means and the standard deviations, which you'll include in your results for each combination of the groups of the independent variables. And it also gives you the totals. So the totals are going to be your rows and columns in that original ANOVA table. It also gives you the total. Don't think it's that useful. That would be like putting in your paper that the mean of your entire sample was 48.1. It probably isn't that meaningful. It could be if you ended up with absolutely no statistical significance, but even if you don't have significance, I don't think that you would talk about the total of your entire sample. The next thing is the line graph. Unfortunately, the output that SPSS gives you isn't APA style, but you can create your own based on the means from the descriptive table that was in the previous slide. You just put that into Excel or any graphing software that you're comfortable with. You can probably make it APA. I'm going to be honest, I'm not great at it, but if you need help, feel free to reach out. Dr. Rumble has a really good way of doing it in PowerPoint, I believe, so maybe reach out to her first, and Lindsay and I will also be happy to help if we can. Sorry to drag Lindsay into this without her knowing, but I feel very confident that she will also be very happy to help you. It's really nice to look over. For example, like in this one, you can just glancing at it, you can see that there's probably going to be a significant interaction since the lines actually cross each other. The ANOVA output table is what you're probably looking for because it shows significance and it gives you all the values that you need to report in your results section. So in this example, gender is not significant, but in this paper you're going to report um, all of the independent variables and the interaction, whether they're significant or not. So you're going to put the variable, you're going to put its mean and standard deviation from that descriptives table, and then you're going to put the F value, the degrees of freedom, and for F values, that's going to be the degrees of freedom that you have for the variable, and then the total degrees of freedom. Then the F statistic, and then the p-value rounded to 2 decimal places. Pretty much anything that you report is going to be rounded to 2 decimal places. The only exception is if, for example, you were reporting the significance for EDU level, since SPSS gives you 0.000, you would just say that the p-value was greater than 0.001. Your Tukey's test, since the EDU level was significant, you would do a post hoc Tukey test. This normally gets put into a table, but you could mention like the most interesting comparisons in the text of your paper. I provided an example here, and as you can see, the significance that SPSS gave for all the comparisons was 0. So you just put p was greater than 0.001. And then the 95% significant confidence interval goes after that. Moving on to correlations. SPSS is pretty straightforward when it comes to correlations. It spits out this nifty little table. You have your R value, and then your P value, and then your N value. And you can ignore the rest of the boxes. I think it's kind of silly that SPSS provides the output that way, but SPSS is silly about a lot of things. So an example of how to put this into your results section is given here. The p-value that it gives is 0.005. I would just copy that exactly how it's given. You could round it to 0.01, but I think it's better to do it this way. And then effect size for R is super simple to calculate. You just square the R value. So .706 squared is 0.498, but you round it to 0.5. And then you would want to say whether it's like a large effect size or a small effect size. I don't remember off the top of my head what 0.5 is. I want to say medium, but it's super easy to Google, guys. And if you can't figure it out, just reach out and um, we'll help you figure it out. um, and that's about it. It's a longer meditation. It's on self-compassion. It's one of my favorites. So here you go. And if it's not your thing, there's no more slides. You can just end it here. But before you do, know that I love all of you. You're in my thoughts. If you need anything, just let me know. Let Dr. Rumble know. Let Lindsay know. Even if you don't need anything, just let us know. I think we'd all be happy to hear from you, just to say hi. um, you guys are awesome. You're rock stars. Keep on keeping on. Till next time, guys.
This practice is called the self-compassion break, and it's something you can do anytime during the day or at night when you need a little self-compassion. So to practice this exercise, we actually need to call up a little suffering. So I'd invite you to think about a situation in your life right now that is difficult for you. Maybe you're feeling stress, or you're having a relationship problem, or you're worried about something that might happen. I'd invite you to think of something that is difficult, but not overwhelmingly difficult, especially if you're new to practicing the self-compassion break. So finding a situation and getting in touch with it. What's going on? What happened? Or what might happen? Who said what? Really bring the situation to life in your mind's eye. And then I'm going to be saying a series of phrases that are designed to help us remember the three components of self-compassion when we need it most. So the first phrase is, this is a moment of suffering, right? We're bringing mindful awareness to the fact that suffering is present. And I'd invite you to find some language that speaks to you. Something like, this is really hard right now. Or, I'm really struggling. We're actually turning toward our difficulty, acknowledging it, naming it. This is a moment of suffering. The second phrase is, suffering is a part of life. Okay, we're reminding ourselves of our common humanity. Suffering is a part of life. And again, finding language that speaks to you. It may be something like, it's not abnormal to feel this way. Many people are going through similar situations. Right? The degree of suffering may be different, the flavor of suffering may be different, but suffering is a part of life, part of being human. And then the third phrase is, may I be kind to myself in this moment. And to support bringing kindness to yourself, I'd invite you to perhaps put your hands over your heart or some other place on your body that feels soothing and comforting. Feeling the warmth of your hands, the gentle touch. letting those feelings of care stream through your fingers. May I be kind to myself. And using any language that supports that sense of kindness. Perhaps language you would use with a good friend you cared about who was going through a very similar situation. You know, it may be something like, I'm here for you. It's going to be okay. I care about you. You can even try using a diminutive if that feels comfortable. You know, oh darling, I'm so sorry. Or you can try calling yourself by your first name. Anything that feels natural to express your deep wish that you be well and happy and free from suffering. And then letting go of the practice and noticing how your body feels right now. Allowing any sensations to be just as they are. Allowing yourself to be just as you are in this moment.